And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy saying today he will meet with U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida this weekend. Zelenskyy told reporters that the two will discuss security guarantees for Ukraine. CBS News producer Leigh Kiniry has more.
Ukraine's President Zelenskyy said he will meet with President Trump as soon as Sunday, and he said he'd be meeting him in Florida. He said the two leaders will discuss some specifics of the proposed peace deal, including security guarantees for the future and territory, both sensitive issues for Ukraine that Zelenskyy vowed to hold on to. Discussions of this peace plan have been ongoing for months between Ukrainian and Russian officials and U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law. They've narrowed it down to a 20-point peace plan that Zelenskyy called the main framework for a deal, and Zelenskyy said it's, quote, about 90% ready. The plan initially proposed by the U.S. was widely seen as benefiting Russia. Despite talk of peace, Russia is still launching near-daily strikes into Ukraine. Earlier this week, they fired more than 650 drones in a large-scale attack targeting 13 different regions in Ukraine, and at least 3 people were killed. This morning, Russia's President Putin said his aides have spoken to members of the U.S. administration, and they agreed to, quote, continue dialogue. Chanel?
Leigh, thank you. And for more on this, let's bring in CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinograd. Sam, good to see you. So much to talk about today, but let's start with this. Where are those talks right now, and what more needs to be done to sort of secure this peace deal between Ukraine and Russia?
Well, Chanel, the short answer is it depends who you ask. According to President Zelenskyy, he has unveiled a new 20-point peace plan that gets at two of the most contested issues still on the table. The fate of a contested region in eastern Ukraine known as the Donbass, as well as the fate of a nuclear reactor that Russia wants to maintain control of. So Zelensky's coming to the United States with this new peace plan to try to push for ongoing momentum. Vladimir Putin has really shown no desire to end this war in any way, shape, or form. And President Trump shortly ago basically said that Zelenskyy has nothing unless the United States agrees with the revised Zelenskyy peace plan.
Okay, so Sam, we also know that Zelenskyy said that he would be willing to make some concessions. What kind of concessions are we talking about here? And is this something that the Russians would actually agree to?
I think it is unlikely that the Russians are going to agree to give up any control of the Donbass region. What Zelenskyy is offering at this time is to set up a demilitarized zone in part of this contested territory in eastern Ukraine. They would require Russia to step back from some territory it ultimately or currently controls, and again, there would be this broader demilitarized zone in eastern Ukraine. That all hinges on Vladimir Putin agreeing to give up some territory that he has seized, and ultimately, of course, depends on the United States giving the Ukrainians and signaling to Russia that the United States is prepared to offer security guarantees to prevent Russia from just rolling back in if a peace deal is implemented.
And Sam, you know, we've also been reporting on this developing news overnight, the U.S. launching those strikes on the Islamic State forces in Nigeria last night. In your perspective, why did the Trump administration decide to strike those ISIS targets right now? I mean, how did we get here?
So the Trump administration is claiming that they struck Islamic State targets in northwestern Nigeria. That is actually a predominantly Muslim part of Nigeria, but the Trump administration is claiming that they undertook those strikes because of violence against Christians in that area. Again, a predominantly Muslim part of Nigeria. The timing of that strike, according to comments that President Trump made recently, was to coincide with Christmas. The strike was ultimately planned for a separate date. There has been serious violence in Nigeria for a very long time. Throughout the country, it is a melting pot of ideologies that have led to violence against a range of individuals, Christians, Muslims, and others. But President Trump has been quite focused specifically against violence against Christians, a charge that the government of Nigeria does not agree with, but the government of Nigeria did cooperate in the strikes that occurred on Christmas Day.
Some important context there. Sam Vinograd, thank you.
Thanks.